My beloved child, pause here before you move another step, because what you are about to hear was not placed before you by accident. Do not rush past these words. Something has already begun moving behind the scenes, something quiet, deeply emotional, and far more real than you have allowed yourself to believe. Your soulmate is coming to see you. Yes, they are drawing closer. But for reasons you do not yet understand, their journey must remain a secret. There is a reason this message found you at this precise moment. Heaven has watched you carry questions that no one around you could answer. You have wondered why certain memories have suddenly returned with such intensity. You have wondered why you have felt restless at unusual hours, why your heart has seemed to recognize an approaching moment before your mind could explain it. You have tried to dismiss these feelings as imagination, but deep within you, something has been whispering that a change is near. Stay here, because the secret surrounding this visit is not what you think. Your soulmate is not hiding their journey because they are ashamed of you. They are not keeping silent because their intentions are uncertain. The secrecy exists because too many voices have already tried to influence what lies between you. Too many people have offered opinions about a connection they have never truly understood. Some spoke from concern. Some spoke from fear. Some spoke from jealousy they refused to admit. And your soulmate has finally realized that every time they announced their feelings too soon, the moment became clouded by the expectations of others. This time, they want no interference. This time, they are protecting the moment before it is born. For a long while, your soulmate believed they needed permission to follow what their heart had been telling them. They looked around for approval. They waited for someone to say, "Yes, go." They searched for certainty in conversations, signs, advice, and circumstances. But the more they asked others what to do, the further they drifted from the answer they already carried within themselves. Then something happened. It was not loud. No one else noticed it. There was no dramatic announcement, no public confession, no sudden celebration. It happened in a quiet place, perhaps late at night, when they were alone with thoughts they had been avoiding. A memory of you returned to them with unusual clarity. Not just your face, but the way your presence once made them feel understood. They remembered something small you said, something you may not even recall. Yet that memory opened a door they could no longer close. They realized that time had not erased you. Distance had not silenced you. Distraction had not replaced you. And the truth frightened them, not because loving you felt wrong, but because it still felt so powerful. Do not skip what comes next, because this is where the hidden journey truly began. Your soulmate tried to resist the idea of seeing you. At first, they told themselves it would be better to wait. They created practical reasons. They thought about schedules, responsibilities, distance, timing, and the possible reactions of other people. They imagined everything that could go wrong. They rehearsed conversations that had not even happened. They almost convinced themselves to remain where they were. But each time they decided not to come, something inside them became heavier. Their days continued, yet they felt absent from their own life. They smiled when expected. They answered questions. They completed ordinary tasks. But beneath the surface, there was a growing realization. They could no longer move forward while pretending they did not need to face what was still alive between you. Your soulmate does not simply want to see you. They need to understand what happens within them when they stand near you again. They need to know whether your eyes still carry the same familiar warmth. They need to hear your voice without a screen, without distance, without the protection of silence. They need to discover whether the bond they feel is a memory they have romanticized or a truth that has survived every attempt to bury it. Yet there is something else they are carrying, something they have not told anyone. They are not coming empty-handed. No, my child, this does not necessarily mean a physical gift, although one may exist. What they are bringing is far more important. They are carrying words they have rewritten many times in their mind. They have imagined saying them boldly, then softly, then not at all. They have practiced how to begin, but every beginning feels too small for what they need to reveal. There is an apology within those words. There is a confession within those words. There is also a question that could change the direction of both your lives. But before that question can be asked, your soulmate must first cross a private battle within themselves. You see, they have not only been hiding this journey from other people. They have been hiding it from the version of themselves that once chose fear. There is an old part of them that still whispers, "Turn back. Protect yourself. Do not become vulnerable again." That voice grows louder whenever they imagine your reaction. They wonder whether you will welcome them. They wonder whether they waited too long. They wonder whether your heart has already closed the door they are finally ready to approach. And there are moments when this fear nearly stops them. But then they remember the pain of doing nothing. They remember how it felt to watch time pass while carrying your name in silence. They remember every moment they almost reached out and did not. Most of all, they remember the unbearable thought that one day they could learn you had moved on completely, not because love was absent, but because they never found the courage to act. That thought has become stronger than their fear. This is why they are coming. Yet heaven is asking you not to build a fantasy around the exact form of their arrival. Do not exhaust your heart by staring at every road, every notification, every passing face. The moment is being shaped through choices, not through your anxiety. Your task is not to force the timing. Your task is to become still enough to recognize truth when it stands before you. Because the person approaching you may not look as confident as you imagine. They may arrive carrying nervousness beneath a calm expression. Their words may come slowly. They may look away before meeting your eyes. They may begin with something ordinary because the extraordinary truth feels too large to speak immediately. Do not mistake hesitation for a lack of feeling. Sometimes the deepest emotions do not enter a room loudly. Sometimes they tremble at the doorway. Your soulmate has imagined this meeting more than once. In one version, you run toward them. In another, you stand frozen. In another, neither of you knows what to say, and silence speaks first. But there is one detail that appears in every version: the moment your eyes meet, everything they have tried to suppress rises to the surface. That is what they are both longing for and afraid of. They believe your eyes will reveal whether they still have a place in your heart. And although they are preparing many words, they suspect your expression will answer them before they speak. This is why the secrecy matters so much. They do not want anyone coaching them. They do not want to perform for friends, family, or the expectations of those who think they understand your story. They want the meeting to belong only to the two souls who have carried it through silence. Someone close to your soulmate may already sense that something is changing. They may have noticed your soulmate becoming quieter. They may have seen them checking dates, rearranging plans, or withdrawing from conversations that once distracted them. A question may already have been asked. Is something going on? Your soulmate avoided the truth. Not because they wished to deceive, but because speaking too soon would make the journey feel exposed. They have learned that fragile beginnings need protection. A seed is not dishonest because it grows beneath the soil. It is simply gathering strength where the world cannot disturb it. And this meeting is still beneath the soil. There is another reason for the secrecy, one your soulmate has barely admitted to themselves. If the meeting does not go as they hope, they do not want to explain their heartbreak to anyone. They want the freedom to risk everything without an audience. This reveals how much the moment matters to them. People do not protect what means nothing. They do not lose sleep over ordinary encounters. They do not secretly change plans for someone who has no place in their heart. Your soulmate is protecting this because seeing you again feels like standing at the edge of a new life. But my child, you also carry fear. You may tell yourself that you are ready, yet part of you has learned to survive without answers. You have built routines around the absence. You have found ways to move through the day without expecting anything. The possibility of their return awakens hope, but hope itself can feel dangerous when disappointment has visited before. You may be wondering, what if this is only another almost? What if they come close and then pull away? What if I open my heart and lose my peace? Heaven does not ask you to abandon wisdom. You are not being told to ignore your boundaries or surrender your discernment. You are being invited to remain open without becoming unprotected. Love does not require you to forget what hurt. It asks you to see whether growth has occurred. The meeting will not be important merely because your soulmate comes. It will be important because of who they have become on the journey toward you. There was a time when they would have arrived expecting you to understand everything without explanation. There was a time when they might have hidden behind charm, avoided difficult subjects, or offered promises without a plan. But life has humbled them. Silence has taught them. Losing access to your energy has shown them what they once took for granted. They now understand that your heart cannot be approached casually. They know that your trust is sacred. They know that if they return, they must bring honesty. This realization did not come easily. There was a particular moment when your soulmate finally saw themselves clearly. Someone may have challenged them. A conversation may have reflected their own behavior back to them. Or perhaps they witnessed another person lose someone valuable because they waited too long to speak. Whatever the circumstance, it struck them deeply. They saw the possible future of their own hesitation. They imagined hearing that you had given your heart to someone who was brave enough to show up. They imagined smiling politely while something inside them shattered. That vision became a warning they could not ignore. From that moment, the journey toward you stopped being a distant wish and became a decision. Do not skip now, because the decision was followed by an unexpected sign. After your soulmate privately chose to come, something connected to you appeared. It may have been your name, a song, a place, a phrase, a photograph, or a memory triggered by something ordinary. They were not searching for it. It found them. For a few seconds, the world around them seemed to fade. The sign felt too precise, too closely connected to the decision they had just made. They did not tell anyone. They simply sat with the feeling. And in that stillness, they whispered something like, "If this door is still open, help me find the courage." The courage did not arrive as a sudden absence of fear. It arrived as the willingness to move while fear remained. This is why you may have felt a shift recently. A heaviness may have lifted for no visible reason. You may have dreamed of travel, doors, reunions, unexpected conversations, or someone standing just beyond your reach. You may have experienced a strange sense that a chapter was turning before any evidence appeared. Your spirit may be responding to a decision your ears have not yet heard. But be careful, my child. Do not turn every coincidence into a command. Do not chase every shadow. The true sign will not demand panic from you. What is meant for you will not require you to lose yourself while waiting. Prepare through peace. Prepare by releasing the need to control every detail. Prepare by deciding what honesty you require and what love should look like in action. Because when your soulmate stands before you, emotion may become so strong that old pain and new hope rise together. You will need clarity. You will need to hear not only what they say but also what their actions reveal. And they are preparing for this too. Your soulmate knows words alone may not be enough. They know you may ask questions they cannot escape. Why now? Why the silence? Why did it take distance for them to understand? What has truly changed? They have been searching for answers that are honest, not impressive. One answer continues to return: they were afraid of the depth of the connection. It was easier to act uncertain than to admit that you mattered enough to change them. It was easier to create distance than to risk being fully known. It was easier to delay than to step into a love that required maturity. But distance did not free them. It revealed them. In your absence, they saw which parts of themselves had been hiding. They saw how often they chose control over vulnerability. They saw that keeping their heart protected also kept it lonely. They are coming because they no longer want fear to make decisions on their behalf. Still, the secrecy is creating one final complication. There is a person in their environment who would not support this journey. This person may not be evil, and their opposition may not be obvious. They may claim to be practical. They may say they are only trying to help. Yet their advice is shaped by their own experiences, wounds, or unspoken attachment to your soulmate's choices. Your soulmate knows that if this person learns about the visit too soon, questions will begin. Doubt will be planted. Old situations will be reopened. Your soulmate may be reminded of every reason to stay away. So they have chosen silence. This may be the first time they have protected a decision from outside influence rather than allowing others to shape it. That alone is a sign of growth. But secrecy can also create pressure. Your soulmate must move carefully. They are managing responsibilities, timing, and details without revealing the true reason. They may have given someone a partial explanation for where they are going. They may have described the journey as ordinary while carrying an extraordinary purpose. Every step toward you feels more real now. The distance is no longer an idea. The meeting is no longer a dream. And the closer it becomes, the more they think about the exact first moment. Will you smile? Will you cry? Will you be guarded? Will you ask them to leave? They have prepared themselves for many possibilities, but there is one response they secretly hope for, that you will look at them and recognize the sincerity they could not show before. Not perfection. Not certainty about the future. Sincerity. They want you to see that coming to you required them to confront everything that once kept them away. My child, there is something you need to understand before this meeting. The purpose of their arrival is not simply to restart what existed before. What existed before may have contained love, but it also contained confusion, timing issues, unspoken wounds, and patterns neither of you fully understood. They are not being guided back to repeat the past. They are being drawn toward a conversation that can either transform the bond or release both of you from the unanswered questions surrounding it. That truth may feel frightening, but it is also freeing. You do not need to perform when they arrive. You do not need to pretend you were never hurt. You do not need to accept every explanation immediately. You only need to remain present enough to recognize whether truth has entered the room. Your soulmate is hoping for reconciliation, but they also know they cannot demand it. This awareness has changed the words they plan to speak. At first, they imagined arriving with a bold declaration, expecting the intensity of their feelings to carry the moment. But now they understand that love must also listen. They plan to ask how you truly felt. They want to hear what their silence did to you. They are afraid of your answer, but they know they need it. This may be the first time they approach your pain without trying to defend themselves. And that is where the most powerful part of the meeting may begin. Not in the confession. Not in the embrace. Not in the surprise of seeing each other. But in the moment they stop explaining and finally listen. There are words you have carried too. Words you never sent. Questions you buried because asking them felt useless. Feelings you softened so others would not call you foolish for still caring. When your soulmate appears, those words may rise suddenly. Do not be afraid of your truth. Speak without cruelty, but do not shrink. Your honesty is not an obstacle to love. It is the doorway through which real love must pass. Something extraordinary is waiting beyond that doorway, but only if both of you are willing to leave your old masks outside. Your soulmate has already begun. They recently let go of something connected to the version of themselves that kept running. It may have been a relationship, an expectation, a false story, a habit, or a plan for the future that did not include you. The release was painful, yet necessary. That is one reason their energy feels different now. They are making space. But the final thing they must release cannot be left behind until they see you. It is the belief that they have permanently lost the right to be loved by you. This belief has followed them quietly. Even while planning to come, they fear that their past choices have placed you beyond reach. They wonder whether asking for another chance would be selfish. And this is where the question they carry becomes so important. They are not coming simply to say, "I miss you." They are coming to ask whether the future between you is still possible. Yet there is more. Before they ask, they intend to reveal something about the time you were apart. Something happened during the silence that changed the way they see you. It may involve a truth they discovered, a conversation they overheard, or a realization about why events unfolded as they did. They have kept this revelation hidden because they did not want to speak it through a message. They want to watch your face when you hear it. They want to answer every question that follows. This secret within the secret is the reason the meeting has become so urgent to them. For days, perhaps longer, they have been deciding whether to tell you before arriving. More than once, they opened a conversation, typed a few words, then erased them. They feared that revealing too much would destroy the surprise or give fear another opportunity to stop them. So they chose to carry the truth in person. You may sense their nearness before you receive confirmation. Your routine may be interrupted. A plan may unexpectedly change. Someone may mention a place connected to them. You may feel drawn to prepare yourself without knowing why. Remain grounded. The greatest preparation is not external. It is the quiet decision to meet the moment as the person you have become, not as the wounded version of you who once waited without answers. You have grown too. You may not recognize how much because growth often happens silently. But your standards are clearer. Your intuition is stronger. You no longer confuse longing with destiny or attention with devotion. You understand that genuine love must be consistent, respectful, and brave. This growth is exactly why the meeting can happen now. Had your soulmate arrived earlier, emotion might have overwhelmed wisdom. You might have accepted words before seeing action. They might have promised change before understanding what change required. The delay was painful, but it revealed what each of you needed to learn. Now, the moment is approaching with a different possibility. Still, I must tell you something that will surprise you. Your soulmate's plan is not as simple as arriving, speaking, and leaving. They have made an additional decision. They are prepared to change something significant if your conversation opens the door they hope it will. This could affect where they live, how they spend their time, what commitments they continue, or which direction they take next. They have not announced this decision because it depends on one truth only you can give them. They need to know whether your heart is open to rebuilding, not returning to the old connection, but creating something new from the lessons of what was lost. This is why the visit must remain secret until the moment arrives. Too many people would call it impulsive. Too many would remind them of obstacles. Too many would speak about your bond as though it were a problem to solve rather than a truth to understand. Your soulmate wants to hear your voice before hearing anyone else's opinion. The journey may already be closer than you think. There is a detail they recently confirmed, a date, a route, a place, or a time. The moment they confirmed it, their hands may have trembled. What had existed only in imagination suddenly became real. They sat in silence afterward. Then they thought of you. Not the idealized version of you, but the real you, the one who has been hurt, who may be cautious, who may no longer accept uncertainty. And instead of turning back, they felt even more determined. Because this time, they are not coming to ask you to wait. They are coming to show you they have finally moved. But my child, the hidden journey has encountered one final obstacle. Something happened after.